get to kind of teach our class today, so I'm kind of super excited. And there are a lot of people watching you guys, and you guys knew that you liked the rock stars today. So, I told them to film me from my good side, and they'll film you guys from your good side too. So you have all your interactive reader, you need a pencil, and a highlighter. Those are the two things I need to take out of your boxes now. So Isabella, yes. Zoe. Aya. Couldn't read it upside down. Brandon. Pranav. Evan and Olivia. Excellent. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. So yesterday you guys sort of started reading a story. Who remembers the title? It's up on the board if you can't remember. Aya. Steve Jobs. And what kind of story is it? Is it fiction or nonfiction? Is it Evans? Evan.
No, Evan.
Evan.
It's nonfiction.
What does that mean if it's nonfiction? Like, what does that mean? Describe that for me. Yes.
It's real.
It's real. So the people that we're reading about, Steve Jobs, he's a real person. He existed, yes. So everything we're going to read is the truth. Excellent. So you haven't turned to page 26, going to be on page 26. And before we actually start reading, let's talk a little bit about some vocabulary today. So find your yellow box. You see your yellow box? Put your finger on it. Excellent. Read the first word to yourself. What word is that, everybody?
Tinker.
It's tinker. What does tinker mean? Tell your neighbor. You don't have to tell me. Tell your neighbor. Who wants to share the definition? Yes.
Make changes to play with.
Make changes or play around with. Have you ever tinkered with something before? Anybody here? I'm not real good with tinkering, so I would say my sentence would be, Miss Ellis is not very good at tinkering with electronics. I like them to be put together. I want them to work, right? But tinkering means you kind of fool around with it, kind of try and change it a little bit. Right, excellent. Look at the second vocabulary word. Read it to yourself. Tell your neighbor the definition. What's the definition of formulate? Yes. Come up with a plan. I want you to think about a sentence right now that you could use the word formulate in. Think of a sentence first. Think about it first. I got two people have a sentence. What's your sentence? Okay, that's a fictional sentence, yes? Me and my friends formulated a plan when we were trying to get into a store. Okay, that's using formulate. All right, one more. We need one more sentence.
I formulated to take a test.
Say that one more time. I formulated to take a test. So you came up with an idea to take a test, so I formulated to take a test. Is that your sentence? Okay, I'm gonna give you one more, okay? So formulate. I came up with a plan to formulate how to do my homework. Okay, that would be my sentence. Those two words we're gonna read today. When you hear those words when we're reading, give me a thumbs up so I know you know that you just read a vocabulary word. If you don't hear, you can keep your thumbs down, but when you do hear it, thumbs up. Okay, so we're gonna read first. I'm gonna start, so then I may call on you to read a sentence or two, so just be ready when I call on you. And as I'm reading, what are you gonna do when you hear the vocabulary word? Thumbs up, excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna begin, and then you guys, I will call on a few people to read. You ready? I'm on page 26. If you're following along, everybody's following along, fantastic. All right, Steve Jobs was a mischievous grade school student. He wasn't a bad kid, just smart, curious, and at times bored. Today, a teacher might have a student like Jobs work at a computer and do special projects, like make animated science films or email foreign students. But in the 1960s, when Jobs was in school, there were no personal computers. And there wouldn't really be any until smart, curious Steve Jobs grew a little older and helped change the world. I have a volunteer to read. Right, go ahead. Two sentences for me, okay? Yeah, that's correct.
The young Steve spent his childhood near San Francisco, California. In the 1960s, tech companies like
Hewlett Packard.
Packard
Excellent.
were located there.
Very good. Next two sentences for me, Evan.
Now, the area is filled with companies that make computers, create electronic devices, and run websites.
sentence.
People who work for tech companies often tinker with new electronics.
Okay, so they tinker with new electronics. Good. Another volunteer to read 2 sentences from it. Go ahead.
When Jobs was that
We're going to stop right here with Jobs. Jobs was.
Jobs had a neighbor who did just that. When Jobs was 10, that neighbor suggested Jobs join the Hewlett-Packard Explorers Club.
Excellent. It was a club for kids who love science. The group met in the company cafeteria to study electronics and see the company's newest products. Volunteer to read 2 sentences at the top? Okay, go ahead, sweet.
6 years later, Jobs met Steve
Wozniak.
whom everyone called Woz. Woz was an older kid who knew a great deal about electronics.
Excellent. Before long, Jobs and Woz were building gadgets together. While Jobs was still in high school, the two built a simple computer. Jobs entered college, but didn't stay very long. Instead, he studied on his own, traveled, and worked for a video game company called Atari. Jobs wired video games, learned more about electronics, and hung around with tech people. Volunteer? Go ahead.
Woz, Jobs, and the other computers minds formed the Homebrew Computer Club. Members use do-it-yourself kits to make their own computer.
Excellent. Aya?
Jobs began to formulate
Excellent, almost forgot. Start your sentence again, let's try again. Go ahead.
Jobs began to formulate ideas about the future uses of home computers. Woz, who now had a full-time job at Hewlett-Packard,
Very good.
formulate ideas of how the computers would work.
In 1976, Woz was giving away plans for the computer to other do-it-yourselfers. Jobs saw the genius in Woz's plans. He saw something else too. He and Woz could combine talents and form their own company. That Apple computer was born. Who's heard of the Apple computer before? Isn't that cool to read about how he actually began the Apple computer? All right, let's talk a little bit before we talk about some questions. Let's talk about who's in the story, right? Who's in this nonfiction text that we're about to read. So before today, you guys have been answering all on your own. Your teacher's helping you. I want you to write down who you think the major character is in this story in your character box all by yourself today, and then we're going to share out. Okay, who did you write down as the major character? Isabella?
Steve Jobs.
Absolutely correct. He's the main person that we're reading about in this nonfiction text. There is another character. Who remembers what we call that character? He's not major, he's what? Minor. Excellent. Now I want you to figure out who would be the minor character. There is a minor character in this nonfiction text. Write it down. We got lots in here. Do you want to share out, Brandon?
Steve Wozniak.
Excellent. And what do they call him?
Woz.
So if you want to put his nickname, go ahead. That's fine too. Okay, so the major character is Steve Jobs, and the minor character, you guys were absolutely correct, is Woz, the person he met when we started working with. Okay? Now, where did this take place? So when you read stories, usually in fiction stories, talk about the setting, but this is a real story, right? It really happened. You have to find where this mainly took place and see if you can find it. If you find it, put your finger on it first. See, a couple people found it. Oh, a lot more people. Looking for a place. See, people underline the place. That's very good. What do you think? Where does this take place? Yes.
Hewlett-Packard.
It does. And where is that? Where's that located? Gives you a clue. See if you can find it. You're absolutely correct. And it's okay to underline that. Go ahead.
The cafeteria.
They also was in the cafeteria. Good. And think bigger. So she's absolutely correct. It took place when they were working in the cafeteria. Think bigger. It doesn't have to be very specific. We live in this place. That's the hint. We live here. Yes. California. Right. So it really took place in California, right? This is where he grew up. We live here. And they also gave a city. You found the city. Underline that as well. Isabel, what's the city? You underlined it. San Francisco. So let's go ahead and put the setting down as San Francisco, California. So we're going to do our first evidence. So I like to talk and I like to chat, but I have to have proof when someone asks me a question. I can't just say it. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to find proof to the question. So please read me the question in the text evidence box for me. Evan, can you read the question for us?
What do people who work for tech companies often do?
Good. So we've got to find some proof. It tells us what they actually do. I want you to take your highlighter and I want you to underline where the proof is to answer that question. What do people who work for tech companies often do? And I want you to share with your neighbor first to see if you guys underline something similar or different after you highlight it. Okay? So once you highlight, go ahead and share out what you've highlighted. Oh, that's perfect. Did you guys share? Did you see that you have the same thing? So what did you highlight, Brandon?
I highlighted people who work for tech companies often tinker with new electronics.
Excellent. They often tinker with new electronics. We got that new vocabulary word. What did you highlight for us? Aya.
Now the area is filled with companies that make computers, create electronic devices, and run websites.
There's actually two places where you could find proof of what people do. Go ahead and write down just what you highlight. You don't have to copy every single word. You're telling me the main ideas. You don't have to copy it word for word. What do they really do? Look at what you highlighted and then kind of summarize or paraphrase is another way you could say it on what they do. I'll wait till everybody finishes before I put it up here. Okay? Let's see what you got. Remember, you're writing just the big pieces, not everything. You guys are doing a fantastic job writing down your evidence. All right, read us the second question we're going to find some proof for. Olivia, do you mind reading that second question for us in the text evidence box?
What did Josh do when he left college?
Now, we know he went to college, yes, but he didn't really stay very long. It said, find where it talks about what he did when he left college. And when you find it, I do want you to highlight it. He did a lot, so you may be highlighting more than you think is normal. He did a lot after he left college. Read to me what you have highlighted because he did a lot. You want to share out, Evan? What do you have highlighted?
It just says that instead, if he studied on his own travel and worked for a video game company called
Atari. Good. Just so you know, when I was your age, guess what videos that I played? Atari games. Have you guys ever heard of Atari before? They were awesome, but they were fantastic and really advanced for their time. And so that is kind of cool, at least for me, to see that this is what he did after he left college, right? So what I want you to do now is that you've highlighted a lot. So some people highlighted more than things. He traveled, he went to work, he worked for a different company. Those are all the things that he did. Go ahead and put in the next text evidence box what he did. Now he did a lot. So I highlighted up here because there's a lot that he did. And I want you to include as much detail in this answer versus the last one we did big ideas. I want you to include as much information, okay? Because he did a lot after college. kind of review what we've already done so far. So we know who the main character, the major character is, everybody?
Steve
Good,
Jobs.
you can always look back at your notes. And who's the minor character? You just was, right? Or you can put his own name, that's fine too, good. And where does it mainly take place, this nonfiction story? San Francisco, California, excellent. And what do people do when they work at tech companies? What do they do?
Going to tech companies often make computers and electronics devices and run websites.
Excellent, make computers, electronic devices, run websites. And what does Steve Jobs do after he finished college, oh sorry, after he left college? To read me your notes, Evan.
The text said that he worked for the company
Atari.
and Steve Jobs wired video games and learned more about electronics.
Excellent. Okay, so how many people like movies? I love movies. And what's the best thing about a movie? There's a story, and what do you see on the screen? People, everything is big and colorful, you kind of see it. We actually have movies in our head when we're reading. So this is what I want us to do. You're going to close your eyes. You're making your own movie in your head of what we just read. And I'm going to ask you and tell me what you visualize. So everybody's got to close your eyes and make your own movie in your head about what we just read about Steve Jobs. And I want you to describe something that you see in about 10 seconds. Give me as much detail as possible. Don't fall asleep on me. All right, open your eyes. What's in your movie?
I see him in like this office, like high-tech computer.
Okay, so she sees him in an office with high-tech computers. Love that. Excellent. What's in your movie?
I see him on working on computers and fixing them with their buttons.
Oh, see him working on computers, fixing them if they're broken, tinkering with them. I love it. Okay, what's in your movie?
In my movie, I see Steve Jobs like doing the make your own computer kit
Oh,
thing.
that's right. Wouldn't that be cool if someone just gave you a bag and said, okay, make your own computer? That'd be awesome. I love that. So what I want you to do in your visualization box, you can do one of two things. You can do a quick sketch of what you just told me about your movie, or you can write a word or two that kind of describes your movie in your green visualization box. Okay, so if you want to make a quick sketch, you can do that, or you can write a word or two about what you just visualized in your own movie. Okay, either one is fine. Building and fixing computers, I like it. Okay. If you're sketching, we'll take about 30 more seconds to finish your sketch, okay? It's okay, it's not perfect, but just so you get your big ideas down. I like your, I can tell you, yours has perfect picture of your movie that you told us and shared. So we're not going to finish reading this selection today, okay? So we're actually going to finish it, don't worry about it, tomorrow. But before we finish it, sometimes when we're reading, we kind of think about what might happen, like how will this story, this nonfiction text actually end? So think about what do you think is going to happen next? So we know that he went to college, he left, he's working for this big company, he is really good with computers, he's fixing it, he's kind of teamed up with his friend. What do you think is going to happen next in his life, since we know this is a true story? So tell your partner some things you think might happen tomorrow when you finish reading the story, and kind of be as detailed as possible. We'll try and share out as much as we can. Okay, you want to share it with me? So you, both of you, make sure both of you share.
The iPhone, the Apple iPhone.
So I think he's going to do exactly what you said, and then leave where he's working now to do his own company. All right, what did your, now tell me what your partner said, not what you said. So what did Evan say?
My partner said that Steve Jobs will get famous.
That he will get famous. And what did your partner say?
He said that Steve Jobs will correct the iPhone.
Excellent, we love that. Excellent. Okay, what did your partner say?
He said that Steve Jobs will
Make new technology. Okay, excellent. What did your partner say?
he said he won't get famous.
might make a new phone. So what I want you to do is write down now your prediction, now that you share it with your partner, what you think is going to happen tomorrow when we finish reading about Steve Jobs. Okay, so write down your prediction. Thank you for sharing. Did you write it down already? Okay, perfect. I can't read upside down, but come around. I tried. I like even looking at new technology because we know it's working for a company right now. I love how you guys are already bringing in some of the things you already know about Steve Jobs to your predictions. You can check tomorrow to see if they come true. All right, you guys, we're going to actually do a little bit of the computer right now. So what I'd like for you to do is put your pencil and your highlighter back in your boxes. Like I said, fantastic. I'm going to be absent tomorrow, so I'm going to have to read the rest of the story on my own to find out. Put your books in your desk, and then we're going to walk over to the computer area. All right, don't forget to push your chair.